Now, the government says that approval of the 3 vaccines are under consideration. 6 vaccines under clinical trial as well in India. And they are already looking at a timeline which they believe will not be flouted as of now. Take a look at this excerpt of what the Health Ministry is telling us.
जिन देशों में इम्यूनाइजेशन प्रारंभ हुआ है, विशेषकर यूके, वहाँ पहले ही दिन एडवर्स इवेंट्स हुए हैं, तो इसलिए ये आवश्यक है कि राज्य सरकारें और संघ शासित क्षेत्र इसके लिए भी तैयारी करें। दूसरा, मैनेजमेंट ऑफ माइनर, सिवियर और सीरियस एडवर्स इवेंट्स फॉलोइंग इम्यूनाइजेशन। ये 3 कैटेगरी में एडवर्स इवेंट्स को बांटा जाता है। सीरियस एडवर्स इवेंट वो होता है जहां हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन की आवश्यकता हो। बाकी 2 कैटेगरीज माइनर और सिवियर की हैं। इनका मैनेजमेंट कैसे किया जाएगा, इसकी गाइडलाइन भी जारी की गई है।
This week, the Drugs Controller General of India has granted clearance for clinical trials for one more candidate vaccine from India. This is a vaccine, as you know, it was here in the news, but हम चिन्हित करना चाहेंगे कि जिनोवा कंपनी ने डीबीटी की मदद से, this is a truly again an Indian vaccine. भारतवर्ष की जो डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी रिसर्च एजेंसी है हमारी, उनके साथ मिलके जिनोवा एक कंपनी है, फर्म है, बहुत ही इनोवेटिव काम करती है, एक नया वैक्सीन को इजाद किया है, इंडियन वैक्सीन है, और इसमें mRNA की टेक्नोलॉजी को इस्तेमाल किया गया है। अब हमारे पास 6 वैक्सीन एट दिस टाइम आर अंडरगोइंग क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स, ह्यूमन ट्रायल्स इन आवर नेशन। सो ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात है। सेकेंडली, जो आपको ज्ञात है कि 3 वैक्सीन की एप्लीकेशन हमारे ड्रग्स कंट्रोलर साहब के पास हैं और उनको एग्जामिन किया जा रहा है इमरजेंसी यूज ऑथराइजेशन के लिए कि उनको क्या प्रोग्राम में लाया जा सकता है। इसको इट्स बीइंग एग्जामिन्ड ऑन साइंटिफिक बेसिस। जो ब्रॉड गाइडलाइंस इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की हैं वैक्सीन की, जैसा राजेश जी ने बताया, उनको हमने स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स के साथ शेयर किया है। उसमें ब्रॉड कॉन्टूर्स ऑफ इम्प्लीमेंटेशन दिखाए गए हैं। उसको लागू कैसे करना है नीचे से नीचे स्तर तक और स्टेट लेवल पे।
All right, so some very important details emerging out of that press conference that has just been concluded. So Kirti Trivedi was there and brings us the latest. So Kirti, some very important numbers coming to us for the very first time on what are these 3 priority groups going to be looking like. Take us through that first, please.
Well, Sona, the 3 priority groups have been reported in the past as well. The part that is new is that government sources tell us that for the first priority group, which is 1 crore healthcare workers, for them, at least out of 50% of those, that is 50 lakh healthcare workers, for those, the data has already been collected. The Union Ministry has received that data. It has been sent from the state governments. So that is 50% of the data collected for healthcare workers. Then, of course, are the other categories of other frontline workers, as which includes these other security personnel, whether it's the police or ITBP and all of those armed forces, home guards. So in the first 30 crore that will be vaccinated, the other 2 crore includes those from the armed forces and police forces, and 27 crore are priority age groups which are above the age of 50. So those priority groups have been there as far as the information is concerned. That's been there in the past as well, but the status of data collection, that is getting updated now with government sources telling us that at least for healthcare workers, for the first 1 crore that are to be vaccinated, for 50 lakh of those, the data has now been collected. The Union Ministry has received the data, 50% still there remaining. As far as the other big developments that are concerned from the Health Ministry's end, there are mechanisms that have been announced today as part of the protocol for vaccination, which includes how many of the ASHA workers across the country are going to be trained for this process of vaccination. There are several district level as well as state level task forces that have held their meetings. Those have been completed. And cold chain management, there would be 29,000 cold chain points across the country. And also the important issue of adverse events following immunization, which basically means after somebody is vaccinated, for the next 30 minutes or so, they would be observed whether there are any side effects that they are complaining about, and how those are to be handled at the block level, at the sub-divisional level, at the district level. At all of these levels, there should be adverse event centers, AEFI centers,
Right.
or AEFI management centers as the government is calling them, where there would be trained medical experts to handle any adverse events connected to the
Sure.
vaccine. Why this mechanism is all the more elaborate this time, because we've been vaccinating people for the last several years. Especially, we have a very wide children vaccination program, but this
Right.
time
In fact, the
everything is
government
more
has come up
elaborate
with a
because
plan
this
of
is a new
5 people
vaccine.
to be at every
Emergency
center,
authorization
and those
approvals will
5
be
people
given
list
out,
also coming
and
in.
with an
Thanks,
adult
Kirti,
vaccine,
for
the
bringing
kind of
us all those
repercussions
details.